Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Yes, indeed. You need to be very afraid. Welcome back. It is Talking Balls, late night. Well, it's a funny old game. It's a scary old game as well. I hope you enjoyed the first episode last week. Well, we're back. So we've not got kicked off YouTube as yet. Reese has, and now God knows what Reese has been doing in the green room. He's had 2 changes, gone off for a wank, got his sex swing out in the background, and I think he's finally ready to actually join in the show. Oh my God, what's he getting at? You see, I can see the green room. Oh my God, he's got it back on again. He's got it back on again. And I don't mean the condom. I tell you what, mate, stop rinsing them out. Buy new. They're not that expensive. Hey, look, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye, hello. Wherever you are in the world, one of those will apply to you. Welcome along to Leicester Till I Die TV. It's the Mad 4. We're back with you here. If you are joining in, as in watching it live, Craig's in, Blue Fox is in, and Ray is in as well. Ray says loves the new opening. Not finished yet, just had a bit of a play about with it, as you do. Well, as Reese often does. He's been told not to, and I hope he doesn't join the show, but there we go. If you're watching us on catch-up, thanks very much. Get your comments in below on the YouTube section. And if you're listening, well, I'm not going to say via your favourite podcast, because I don't actually, believe it or not, I don't upload this to the podcast platform. There's a very good reason for that. I'd probably get banned, but apparently it does go out on YouTube podcasts. Whatever that is. Good advice, always use a fresh condom. It stood me in good stead for many a years. It really has, Ray. I mean, mainly because I got embarrassed hanging them up on the washing line. I tell you what, I'm not saying I'm big, but there used to be a wind tunnel. There we go. Let's have a look and let's talk Leicester City. All right. First of all, welcome along to Reese. He's there. Welcome on that. Really does improve you, Reese. I've got to say. Tom, how you doing, sir? Have you ever washed out a condom?
I have, actually. I found a used one at a shelf of an Iceland supermarket once, Chris, so I disposed of it in the right way. True stories. That's a good way to start the show tonight.
It is, really, isn't it?
It was an interesting area.
It is, well, very, very interesting. Like I say, I hung mine up on the washing line. They wind tunnel, you know, one of those wind socks that they have at airports.
Absolutely.
Had that sort of
Absolutely.
effect, like I
I
say.
wouldn't want to get downwind of it though, Chris, if it was cleaning itself out in the wind.
No, this was to dry it out.
Oh, okay.
Well, we tried to get rid of him, but he was on the street outside, hanging out, begging to come in. Clibbo,
Evening.
how you doing, sir? The used condom king, if I may say so.
Oh, absolutely. I can't afford them. I just, wherever I can find them. Iceland, Tesco's, wherever.
Yeah. I used to enjoy opening up the full pack, popping a little, pin into the end of one, and telling the wife we're playing Russian roulette. I'm not sure if you're ready for this, everybody. I'm certainly not ready for it, but he's been in the green room. He's had the makeup women all over him. And look at the improvement. Reese?
It's Kendo Nagasaki.
Bow down to our evil overlord. Look at this, guys.
Kendo Nagasaki. Good old Kendo.
I know. You've been called Big Daddy. You've been called Kendo Nagasaki now. I mean, I'm not saying, that Tom's beard makes him look like giant haystacks or anything like that, but
Cat Weasel.
Cat Weasel, yes, yeah. Did you guys see when he actually had long hair?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I know you've never seen me when I've actually had hair because I tend. Oh my God, Reese, what have you done? God, that's scary. Scary. Take that mask off, for God's sake. Jesus.
I've already broke 2 mirrors tonight. Leave me alone.
14 years bad luck, eh? We might need to sign her forward badly, as I feel we might have problems if we get any injuries up top. Well, that's a bit serious for this show, Craig, but it's a very, very good point. I've never used one. I've just relied on luck. Well, I've got to say, whatever you do, don't do the rhythm method. And if you do, don't do it to Beethoven's Fifth. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to leave that out. What I like to think of, we start this show at a very low level, with very low standards, and fail to come up to them.
Hello, Octave there, Chris, you started with.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, thank you, Reese, for taking that picture for me last time you were down the King Power. I hope the bag didn't smell too much. But we're going to start. Now, you probably all know Tom is this gentle little, southwest of England bumpkin, and hang on, who's in? Put Reese up top.
That's what she said.
Reese likes to be on the bottom, man.
Yeah. I was a bit of a bagsman in my time. I was a bit of a bagsman when I used to play.
Stop trying to change the subject, Reese. You're a receiver, and Clibbo's the giver, so there we go. That's why they are like that.
What's that say about me and you, Chris? I feel like I'm in the wrong position now. Jesus.
Hey, I told you the other week, I've had one of those, prostate checks. I ain't going to be a receiver ever again.
You're still a virgin, Chris.
Yeah, I know, I am. But I tell you what, that program on the TV I was watching while it was up there was a load of shit. But no, Tom really, he showed his true colours on Saturday. He was so looking forward to the team that played Cologne, and he couldn't wait to see how Winks and Skip got on together. And finally, he actually broke. He broke. So we're going to start off with Tom's tirade, because that's the only one I could think of that began with the T. But it is a rap.
Tom's tripe.
Well, yes. There you go. Don't make him angry. You won't like him when he's angry. Tom, what was the problem? Did you not play well?
Well, last watch along, Chris, like you said, I kind of seen enough by the time the game got to an end of what I felt has been a very failed experiment. And of course, guys, if you haven't seen it, Chris has put timestamps in that so you can go back, click on it, and see the moment live. I caught myself by surprise, guys. That's the truth, because I like to play devil's advocate a lot. I like to think outside the box, but I'm going to say this now. We cannot play Winks and Skip in a centre midfield 2 ever again.
I agree.
It is that simple. We were overran. We were inactive. We were limp. There was no element of dynamic play from the two of them. It took a right back, an 18-year-old right back, to come steaming forward in front of the two of them because only wants to Skip spin. I'm combining their names. I'm that annoyed. Skip got into space in order to create an opportunity for us to get a goal. It was hideous. And I go back through Leicester City's history and I go, we've had midfielders that have changed the game for us. We've had Muzzy Izzet, Yuri Tillemans. I remember once watching Leicester play Aston Villa in the League Cup, Martin O'Neill's Aston Villa. We had James Wesolowski and Richard Stearman as our central midfielders in that game. And even Richard Stearman knew how to play box-to-box and knew how to give it a go. And we only lost in extra time in the last minute. And these, unbelievable how bad they are. They got shown up the first week of the season by a 16-year-old from the academy who came off the bench for the second half and scored 2 goals, replacing one of them. And why?
I was bored shitless watching it because I just couldn't get any momentum. You know, to watch something for long periods, I struggle. I can't sit watching films. So even football matches, and I couldn't get 10 minutes where I was like comfortable. I was enjoying it. I struggled. And I think largely because we were just being overrun and it was just crap.
100% Clibber. And the thing is that we've had excuses before for them. Like, well, we've not really seen them play as a 2 together. I can see why Ruud van Nistelrooy didn't try them both together until right at the end when he realised he was chucking the towel in. Because it was just too much of the same. Maybe it is one of them starts and one of them doesn't. Yes, I can see that argument. We cannot play both the way it is. When you build an engine, if you are a sports car manufacturer in Italy, for example, you build the chassis around the outside with people like a Fataru or a Monga. You don't then look at it and go, we better put the hatchback engine in the middle. You don't do it. It's utter madness. We need to make sure that this never happens again, because I just do not see how we are going to be able to play the way that Marty wants if we play with these boys again. And I'm hopeful, boys, as you know. Sound like a right politician at getting on my high horse. But I believe in Marty that he won't do it. Now he's seen enough of it. But I tell you,
I think it was an experiment. I think it was an experiment. I think he did it on purpose.
Yeah, I think he did as well to see if it worked. And the ultimate thing as well, people have said like they haven't had opportunities. One's now played 60 games for this football club. One's now played 30. I'm sorry. I've kind of seen a good sample size here now. And like I saw Wilfred Ndidi this week, funnily enough, go on a podcast and say that he felt after one performance, fans would jump on players and be like, because you're paid so much, you can't have one bad performance. I get social media's toxic, Wilf, but you're missing a bigger picture here. It's not even about the winning or losing for me. It's about the accountability, about the attitude, about the desire. And we do not see an inch of it. We do not see a foot forward of it from these players at times. Winks might have 100% pass rate in the championship winning season. He might. But what's it done for us? I mean, we got that season, but since then, it's just gone down like a wet fish. I mean, I've had enough of it.
I think the thing is with that team, I mean, I sound like a bit of a conspiracy theorist here, but I do think this was like, if you watch the younger teams that we played, they were a lot more progressive. They had a lot more ideas when tricky situations were occurring. I think he's literally put what we saw was basically the shit that we had last season, playing the same way as we did last season. And that tells him these players can't adapt. They're not listening to what I'm saying. I mean, I've just shown them up. All these young kids or young adults have just shown them up. Yeah. And I think it's obvious to see the difference. I think the young players are obviously wanting to learn. And I think it's shown that the older guard don't. They're not going to progress from what their peaks were. And as far as I'm concerned, their peaks were a long time ago in football terms. And so therefore, they will not get picked and you can show them videos and say, look, here's the contrasts. You can't argue with it because the evidence was there. And I think the younger side that played the first game would have put up a much better fight against this team. So I'm not panicking by any of this because I do believe clearly he will not pick Vestergaard and Cody. He won't pick Winks and Skip together. There's just better options.
I ranted about.
Yeah.
Let's bring Reece in because Reece is that there unbelievably quiet for him. But I want to bring him in. And look, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. First of all, Marty Cifuentes has said some positives to build on. I don't know whether Winks and Skip would fall into that category. But when you look at the games that we played up until that point, this was the strongest team we played. This was a Bundesliga Premier League team. Yes, they'd been relegated a couple of seasons ago, but they just won promotion back to their top division, Bundesliga 1. So are we getting it out of proportion here that we were playing a pretty decent side? And let's be honest with you, Leicester, even with our strongest, most experienced, whether you think they're sort of crap or not, so we're pretty shit at the moment. Was that not carrying a big part of it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as soon as I seen the team, I was like, we're going to lose this because look at that back pairing. It's as slow as a bleeding slug and a snail in a bleeding race. So, I mean, I do believe if you put a Coley and Nelson in that game, I don't think we concede 3 goals. I think they stopped the first goal comfortably because they're quicker. And and I mean, it's like what Tom just said there. I mean, Winks and Skip, we all know that that's not. He's only been there 2 weeks. He's just figuring out. He's just figuring out what his best players are for his system. I think he'll keep Winks around purely for his passing ability, but he has to bring some youth in that midfield area to take the ball on, like El Canous and Page, to take it on and progress the ball. But you're not going to get that with Skip because he's not. He just doesn't offer anything in terms of in terms of taking the ball forward in a way. So. No, I'm not bothered. I wasn't bothered that we lost 3-1. I mean, Casey scored a good goal. So there are a lot of positives to take out from this pre-season. There's more positives than negatives, I think. And believe you me, you will not see Vestergaard and Cody ever play together again. You do not have to worry about that because they cannot play the system because they're not quick enough to recover the ball.
Tom.
Let me just make one more point. I've got a prop here for this. When you get a jigsaw puzzle, right, and you look at the front of the picture on the box, right, you don't go into the jigsaw puzzle, pick up 2 random pieces and start hammering them together like this in the midfield, trying to make sure they fit together and work when they don't even match the image and expect it to be a nice picture at the end of it. Sort it out, Leicester City. Never play them together again.
Tom, I mean, we've got 4 experienced midfielders. We've got Winks, we've got Skip, we've got Ndidi, and we've got some fat-arsed French guy that, doesn't break out of a stride. Sufate or something. I mean, we know, Ndidi is likely to go, but he's past his best. I mean, what 2 do you start, or who do you start out of those 4? Because you've got to have at least one experienced player in there, haven't you?
You have.
Let's say nobody leaves because at the moment, we're a couple of weeks off the starting line and off the start of the first game. Let's presume nobody's leaving or nobody comes in for them, and that's the other thing, of course. Who out of those 4 is your starting experienced midfielder?
Right now, the 2 I would go for is because I'd look back at what we did under Enzo as well. I would go for Winks still, but I wouldn't have Skip in there, and I would go for Winks alongside Ndidi.
Brilliant. I asked
what worked last time. What worked last time? The difference is, of course, when we play this time, we'll be higher up the pitch. That's the idea, unlike last season. So I think Ndidi, yeah, he's not brilliant, but he brings a little bit of chaos with him as well. It's the best of a bad bunch. Honestly, guys, I prefer to see Page alongside Winks or Page alongside whoever. I would. Don't get me wrong. Or I'd like to see him in a box-to-box.
Out of those 2, because I only asked for 1, so out of those 2, and you're turning into Wayne the politician here, out of those 2, which one are you going for? Which one do you want to see as the experienced midfielder with one of the youngsters alongside him?
I'm biased now because I'm actually going to be saying Didi because I'm that annoyed with what I saw last time. I won't get over it that quickly. Maybe ask me again in a few weeks. I'm politicsing again, but Ndidi.
Clibbo, you've got to pick one of the four. Who's your experienced one starting?
Difficult because, I mean, if the truth be known, I don't want to see any of them. But I wouldn't pick Ndidi because I don't really want him here at the club anymore, and that's not because I don't like him. I just want him sold, and I want him to go and enjoy a slower paced league and do what he does best. Because the Premier League is behind him now. He's done however many years in the Premier League. He's served as well, and it's time to go and do your last contract. Winks, if I had to, then it would probably be Winks, but I don't really want to see him in there, to be honest with you. I'd like to, but like you say, you have to have at least one or two experienced heads in there, particularly when things are going shitty. You know, when young lads are having all their own way, one day they're getting bullied. You do need an experienced head to say, look, lads, this is the way we do this. This is how we're going to fight, get out of this. I know it's an easy thing to sort of, you should be saying that to yourself, but in the heat of battle, sometimes you need a general. Whether Winks is that bloke, I don't know, but out of all of them, the long-winded answer is Winks.
WLB said, what about Will Alves? We're talking about the experienced one, WLB. So Alves may enter the building and maybe on the pitch, but we want to know who said. Sorry, I'll come to you in a second, Reece. Clibbo, have you had a haircut, or have you just got it pinned behind you?
I've got it. I have actually had a haircut. I've had an undercut, but I've got it tied back.
I was going to say,
I've never cut my hair. That's sacrilege.
You'll lose all your knowledge. Like Samson. Reece, you dare say Samari, and I'll kick you off the show forever. But who would yours be?
Well, let's just put it this way. I would not have Wilfred Ndidi anywhere near this team because you're not going to progress the style of play. You're not going to progress the ball forward with Wilfred Ndidi in your side. He's a backwards player. He's a ball stopper. He is not a technical player. And with how this system is, you need technical players in there. And Winks has got a track record of doing that under Enzo. And also with Ndidi, I don't think he did that role under Enzo particularly great anyway. I just think because he was so lanky and, he was just in there. So I just don't think he's got a spot in this system, in my opinion. My backup for Winks would be Samare. If I had to pick a backup. But
no, I'm not having that theory. I'm not having anybody coming on here and telling me that Samare is good enough to start in our team.
I just want to ask a question to Reece, actually. This is not to challenge him.
Did you say Winks?
You did say Winks, yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can think of is obviously with it being a more progressive style than Enzo in terms of getting the ball forward quicker. We are open at the back. If indeed he was to sit just in front of the front two, he would be quite useful in that position when they get a break on us. Because if you look at how his system sets up when we're going forward, it does leave a lot of space in those corner areas.
I disagree. I completely disagree with that because the holding midfielder or number 6 role is to progress the ball forward in this system as quickly as you can. Wilfred Ndidi has proven he can't do that. Yes, I completely agree. Defensively, he's outstanding. He will, but that's the whole point where you have quick centre-backs in to make this system work and you have quick full-backs as well. It's not about just being defensively solid anymore. It's about how good technically you are on the ball and how good your ball retention is and in terms of progressing the ball forward. So, like I said, I wouldn't have him as holding midfielder. I wouldn't have him anywhere near the team personally. I love him, but not in this system. It will not work.
Our first one of these.
Fight!
So, who Who was your choice? Or joking aside, look, everybody knows my hatred for Samari is only beaten by my hatred for Valfays. Who would be your one that you'd go for, Reese?
Winks definitely, because I think he's, in terms of the all-round package, near enough to the all-round package. He's good on the ball and he has got experience at the top level with Spurs. So yeah, he would be my pick. Although I still think his attitude stinks. Just getting that in there.
Do you think, Tom? Sorry, did you want to say something, Tom?
I just want to say the interesting thing about this argument is that we're just all picking from either a 5 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10 for this position, really. That's the players we got. But the interesting problem we have got is box-to-box midfield, irrelevant of this. Even if I could see us playing the defensive midfielder in Didi, playing Winks as perhaps a more deep-line playmaker, who's going to be the box-to-box? It has to be Lewis Page. I can't think of anyone else in the football club right now who can play that unless we buy someone, which is looking unlikely because we seem to be so slow at operating fax machines. We might end up with an Adrian Silva situation in a minute.
But Tom, do you think we can afford to go into the new season with two inexperienced, no matter how good we think they are inexperienced, two inexperienced midfielders?
Yes, I think we can. And I'll tell you why. Because the problem is we've seen what happens when we go in with a negative mindset and it's got us relegated. And I think we need to be braver now. I think that's what the lesson is. The thing about getting things wrong in life, Chris, is that's what you learn to get things right. And I think now they've shown enough energy. And, mate, beyond even just that, the lack of energy we've had as a football team. People like Monga bringing energy, Oluko bringing energy, Page bringing energy. I don't see any other option. It's being forced upon us, and we must embrace it or risk losing these youngsters.
Spot on.
Did you want to say anything to that?
Well, I personally think, despite what I said earlier, I think in this day and age of football, experience is very overrated. And I would like to see some experience in the team, and it could be anywhere on the pitch, because what they're offering in experience is just guidance. That's it. Because I honestly think the way footballers are brought up these days, there's a lot less of a fear factor for them, because academies, they're being bred as footballers. They're not like young, talented, scouted players playing for Elston Town, and they go and join an academy and play some games and then transition. It's not like that anymore. It's a whole ethos. So I think what Enzo did with the academy players, he brought them through. Well, the idea was to bring them through the same ethos as the first team. And I think if you do that, and you know, it may take some years for it to sort of bear fruit, but I don't think that need for experience all across the team, because it's the Championship or because it's the Premier League, is as needed as it used to be. It's not as necessary.
Reece, I mean,
you agree?
Saying they're inexperienced. Some of these players have had a year on loan somewhere, so there maybe you know, I'm being unfair in calling them inexperienced.
A little bit, in the nicest way possible, but I think we've been cornered.
In other words, I'm talking shit. Go on, just say it, mate.
You're talking shit. You don't know what you're on about.
This is no French show here, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but in all seriousness, we've been pushed into a corner where we're forced to have to attack this league.
Yes.
Because of the position we have to attack this league. Fuck the experience. Just completely fuck it. Let's fucking go for it. Let's get these kids out there. Let's get Monga out there. Let's get Page out there. Let's get Oluko out there and fucking attack this league as much as we can, because it's a piss poor league. It may be tough, but in terms of quality, it's shit. It is absolute wank. So let's just go out and attack it with all these young players and get our fans off our feet. Monga going down the wing, you know, pressing get us off our feet. You know, when was the last time we got off our feet with a team like that? It was probably when we won the league. So, you know, fuck's sake, just fuck the old guard. Get them on the pitch. Get them on the pitch.
Calm down, you have a fucking Connery.
I'm going to say Reese's rant. There we go. I could do Reese's rant, couldn't I?
You've got to give all of us one every week, Chris. I've got the Incredible Hulk one. You've got to do the boys one as well now, right? We've got to get this action going.
Oh, wait, hang on there. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
Well, what we'll do
Hang
is...
on a minute.
He's getting Slimer out. He's getting Slimer out.
There you
We're
go.
all having a Hawk one.
I could start. You've done it this week, Tom. We could have Reese next week, Clibbo the week after, then back to you, Tom.
Yeah,
Probably advisable that you don't get me on a rant.
Let me come back to you, Reese, on that then. Let's say we
Okay.
do start the youngsters and it starts
Yep.
to go wrong. Are the Leicester fans going to put up with that?
Well, I'd like to think not, because they're local lads. They're going to give everything for the club. You've seen it in pre-season. Even in pre-season friendlies, they're giving their all. They're running their arses off on that pitch. And if that's not enough for the fans to not get behind them, then I don't know what is, basically. Reece gives Luke a run for his money. What a comment that is. I'm not quite on Luke's level, but I thought I'll give me all there. But no, I'd like to think the fans would get behind them, because they're all local lads. This is a new era. You know, we've never had this many talented, and I mean talented players come through at once. So what is there not to get behind about that?
I mean, we've seen it in the pre-season friendly, haven't we? When we made that mistake with the goalkeeper, didn't we? The young goalkeeper, Bowser, and I think it was the Luco made the mistake. What happened? They kept exactly. When the first team do that, what happens? They literally melt like a chocolate pie guard. They disappear with cesspool in the middle of the football pitch. Those lads went, we've messed up, we'll take accountability, hands up, let's go try and get a goal. And they did it about 2 minutes later. 90 days.
I just worry that, knowing the fan base that we have at the King Power, that if it starts to go wrong with the youngsters, that they're going to start moaning. I mean, you know, how can you moan at a left back who is England's first choice left back, but they did with Ben Chilwell? You know, we like to hate on a player, and I just worry that might happen. Look, whether you think Clivo, stop it. If I could, I mean, you know, all right, Danny Ward. I mean, that's a bit of an extreme case, but the fans really got on his back, and it was never a case of, well, the defenders in front of him are shit and they should give him more protection. It was always his fault. And whatever, when we had Danny Ward, you could have had Peter Shilton, Gordon Banks, and Kasper Schmeichel in goal all at the same time, and they wouldn't have stopped a lot of those goals because the defence in front of them was so shit. So I'm just that little bit worried about the youngsters. But having said that, and everything we've said, sorry, Reece, carry on.
What I will say on that, sorry to interrupt you. What I will say on that is they were seasoned pros. You know, they were experienced pros making the same fucking mistakes week in, week out. Now, if a young lad makes a mistake, if a young 16, 17-year-old lad makes a mistake, I like to think the fans would go chin up and go again. But obviously, if they do have the same attitude that they did to have towards the seasoned pros, then I don't agree with that at all. These lads are going to make mistakes. And it's just us as fans need to get behind them and stick with it, stick with the process, because I think in the long run, this could be a great thing for the club in terms of what these players can bring to the team and to the club in general.
And the sad reality is, this is the modern world now, gentlemen, isn't it? It doesn't matter. You make one little mistake, someone's going to jump on you. And I don't agree with it. I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel comfortable in this world, but it is the way it is. And I think actually a little bit of that sometimes can do you some good. It actually can help your growth. It can actually make you go, okay, right, I need to look at things this way or that way. Ultimately, mate, if we don't shift and adjust to the world, we'll become the dinosaurs. We become extinct.
Yeah, they do have no fear. But look, I'm going to say two words to you here. One of them, two names to you. One of them is Vestergaard. Now, yes, he is a lot older and a lot, you know, you should count him as a youngster. But look how we hated him, and yet Enzo came in and turned him into one of the best defenders we've had in years. Okay, it was the championship. I accept that. And then look at Luke Thomas. If he hadn't been pulled through on that season, we would have been up shit creek without a paddle. He was the only left back that we could use in that position. And people soon forgot that, and they hated on him. And then he went to Sheffield United, and let's be honest with you, to use your terminology, Clibbo, a butt plug wouldn't have sealed that Sheffield United defence. More goals than any other team in that league ever, including us. and they needed to get new loans in, so they had to let a loan player go. So it happened to be Luke Thomas, but now he was shit. And he went to Middlesbrough, didn't do particularly well there. Oh, he's shit. He happened to, and I really do hope Duck's not in tonight, but, to me, he ended last season as our best left back. Sorry, Duck, if you're watching. So we do hate on players, and we don't differentiate between young and old. It's the Leicester thing. It's what Leicester fans do. It's not nice, and I don't think it's right, but they do it. But
I think Luke Thomas, I mean, the problem for Luke Thomas is he's been very unfortunate in his career, because I remember him coming through and thinking that this lad's actually got something, but he's, as a young footballer, decisions are made for you, and I think quite a lot of the decisions that have been made for him have been very poor timing. I mean, to be sent to Sheffield United as a loan player when your confidence is probably not the best. He wasn't sent out on loan when he should have been. He was forced into a Leicester team that, where he wasn't quite ready. That's going to drain your confidence. And he was sent to a Sheffield United time that had side that had one of the worst fucking defences of all time. And Sheffield United fans would be expecting. They're not going to see Luke Thomas as this young youth player that's got potential, and they're just like, right, this player's from Leicester City, help us.
Yeah,
like you do, like when we get loan players.
I'm gonna move on now, otherwise this will be turning into the Skip Winks and all the others show. So let's move on to the next topic, and this is say you're a dickhead without saying you're a dickhead. Now, I'll start this off, and I want you to come up. We're going to do this every week. I want you to come up with one each. So, how to say you're a dickhead without saying you're a dickhead. I'll start it off, and I'll just say, "Good evening, I'm Joey Barton."
Beautiful, Chris. Beautiful.
Thank you. Who wants to go first? You only need to do one.
I've got one.
I've got one. Can I go first, mate?
Go on,
Tom.
I'm going to do one for equality. I'm Sonny Aluko. Same principle. What you said about Ian Wright.
Yes. Yeah, I had to think then.
Fair comment, mate. A world of equality. I love it. I'm all for it. Equal rights. Both of those people are dickheads on the same spectrum.
Yeah. Reese?
Right.
There we go.
Labour Party is the best party in the UK.
We're moving on quickly from politics. Clibbo.
Oh, shit. Sadiq Khan has made London the safest city in the world.
Brilliant.
Yes. I thought mine was going to be Joey Barton, but I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that. Sorry, guys. That's the winner this week. I tell you, I don't want to get political, but I'm going to. This isn't one that wants an answer. But there is some videos out there of Sadiq Khan being interviewed by one of the councillors, whatever they are, on his team or whatever, asking about the rape gangs in London, and whether the bollock chewing Mayor of London would not give an answer as to what he thought was happening. He would not. He kept saying to this woman, "What do you mean by rape gangs? What do you mean by grooming gangs?" I can't answer that because you've not explained what you meant. And she was getting more and more frustrated, and all he was doing was winding the clock down. The guy is a total dickhead. He's, I wouldn't waste a wank on him. Let's be honest with you. Who would? So,
a tricky one, wouldn't it?
I think even the rape gangs would avoid him.
I think they would. Maybe when one of those boats comes over from one of those small boats, we can put him and send him the other way. Maybe. We live in hope. Right, here we go then. That was just a quickie. Right. We watched it last night. The first England team to win a trophy on foreign soil. The first England team to retain a major trophy. a women's team that can actually win a penalty shootout. You need to rub that, Tom, get it bigger. Does women's football deserve more credit? I'm going to start this off and say that I've had people in the Leicester Till I Die group saying, why are you fucking posting about women's football? It's not proper football. And we've just been talking about my friend Joey Barton there as well. I mean, that for excitement, I didn't start I watched bits of it. I wasn't glued to it I didn't do watch-alongs until the knockout stages, but I was glued to it. The excitement. All right, you could argue that we were lucky, but you make your own luck in this game. It's all about how many times you put the ball in the net, and we did it more. And I know that the lady from Spain has come out and said they deserved it. You could argue they did. They were the better team, but they just did not put the ball in the net enough. And it's all, it's a two-part game, football, or you could say three. There's attacking and there's defending. We defended well. Now, I'm not saying here that women should be on equal pay with men, because it doesn't draw the crowds in as the men's game does. It's behind. But I think they deserve a hell of a lot more credit and appreciation than they get. That team, fucking Lucy Bronze played through the whole tournament with a broken, whatever she had broken, something broken in her leg, a broken foot or whatever. Nobody in the England's men team would do that since probably Terry Butcher. These women deserve the credit, don't they, Clibbo?
Absolutely. They're putting the blokes to shame. 3 finals in a row, lost the World Cup narrowly, put things right, which is the kind of British spirit that they were under the cosh. They fought back. A couple of things that I will say. I'm absolutely buzzing that they've won it. But there was 2 things. One, the goal scorer was criticised for celebrating too much, which just takes the actual piss. Like, I would have gloated.
Was that
my head
a penalty in the?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's just a piss off. Everybody in the world would have done the same. The blokes would have done it probably 10 times more. So that's a load of shit. The other thing that I heard was one of her ex-colleagues or friends said that she's actually good enough to play men's football. Well, let's not get too carried away. Conference League football, maybe, but it's a long way from men's professional football. However, I would love to see it at the same standard. And if it becomes the same standard as men's football, I'll be happy to see them getting paid the same as men.
Yeah. Tom, I think it was Chloe Kelly. I could be wrong. There's a lot of ones that look the same, but they said 3 consecutive finals, 6 consecutive semi-finals. She said, that's just what we do.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it, Chris? And I'll tell you what is interesting about it, right? We talk about money. If they keep doing things like this, the money will come, because this is probably going to be the highest rated thing on British television this year, this final. It will be. And that will draw in sponsors, that will draw in money. So they're doing everything they can to raise the game for themselves. The one thing I will say, though, which is amazing about women's football, deserves the biggest credit in the world, is that, ironically, because of the lack of money, everyone on that pitch is there because they love football. And you see that in how they play the game. With Premier League football, I don't think so. I think a lot of the players nowadays are quite iffy about football. I think they just quite like getting a nice paycheck and a nice, Ferrari and a nice this and that. I think the lifestyle in some ways outweighs the game now at the top level of English football, in male football. And also, I'm a big ice hockey guy. I was going to go here. In ice hockey, people play broken. You don't win the competitions unless you are broken. People play with broken legs. People play with broken sternums, And the girls have shown exactly why, because you care enough to want to win it. So it was a lovely story for our country. Credit to them, because it's nice for our country to be involved in a story where the desire and passion of them wanting to do something shone through. And yeah, they were behind the entire tournament, but the resilience, my God, that is what makes me proud to be English.
Ronald says there, I'm not knocking women's football, but I have zero interest in it. That's fine. I get that. You don't have to have interest just because you like one sport. I I'm not a cricket fan, and I can think of nothing worse than sitting down and watching the fourth test between England and India and it ending up in a draw. I could think, but give me a 50 ball over match or 2020, whatever they call it, and yeah, I'd be there and watching it. So you don't have to like every aspect of it, and I know you don't, Ronald, but then there's no need to criticise. You know, if you don't like something, don't watch it. And
I'll tell you something. If this tournament has pricked people's ears up that didn't even watch the World Cup or the previous Euros, and if this team continues to grow and becomes even more successful, you will find a lot of the men watching it because they're sick and tired of the suit and tie brigade at the FA picking fashionable players and not fucking teams, and it pisses me off, and it's the exact reason I never fucking watch England international football.
Me neither, mate. Gareth Southgate's a wet wipe. We rewarded failure. We should have won some bloody trophies. It's ridiculous how they rewarded him for failure every time.
Yeah.
I want to come on to a point that was made about Sarega Veigman, or Veigman, however you pronounce it. She took off Russo, having scored a goal and being our main number 9. Now, she wasn't scoring for fun in this tournament, but she'd got the most assists at that point. She just scored a goal to drag us back into a game, which, in fairness, we didn't look like doing. We looked like Spain were they were the better team in open play. But she had the balls to do that.
Yes, she did. And also, there's another example. When, to go off a little bit of topic, but when England played Italy in the Wembley final, in the 55th minute, Roberto Mancini took off his 3 best players because they were knackered. They were running to the ground, and he thought, I'm not losing this final due to a lack of legs. And he put on 3 second-tier players because they needed the energy up front. That's the sign of a fucking top international manager, and that fucking waistcoat wanker cost us that fucking final. But going back to women's football.
Don't sit on that fence, it's going to bend eventually.
But what I will say on women's football is there's a lot of people out there that compare the men's game to it too much. It's a completely different sport. It's a completely different game than it is to men's football. Yes, the quality isn't as good as it is, and I'll hand up and say that. But you have to say the entertainment value you get from it. I mean, it was on the edge of your seat watching that final. Whereas, if I'm watching an England game, I'm bored out an England men's game. I'm bored out my fucking skin. But credit to the girls, and also I've got a question for you lot towards the end of this. So just bear this in mind.
Okay. Tom, that England team could go up against Leicester, starting 11 from last season, and stuff them, couldn't they?
Oh, that's put me in a difficult position here, Chris, right? Probably not. No, but that's nothing against the women. Because
I think they would. I mean, look, if Ruud van Nistelrooy was still in charge and he took that team to play that team under Serena, we'd be stuffed.
Chris, let me put it this way. There's every part of Inkly in my soul that would love that to happen because I feel we deserve that to happen to us as a wake-up call. But the sad reality is, look how they got on when it was at Switzerland's female team played it under whatever it was, male's team. Didn't go particularly well. Under 15s. Yeah, look, but the thing is, we don't have it. We don't have to compare the two. I don't get this narrative of doing that. I don't understand why people are so engaged to go, well, because it's not the male game. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be their thing. And like I say, the things they bring to it is something a lot of the male game has lost its way about. And it's why, actually, like you say, with all the other boys, I really can't be bothered to watch international England football. And in fact, mate, I haven't. I think the last game I actually generally watched, would you believe it, would have been that final with Italy. I don't know, was there one with Spain since then? I can't remember because it's just
absolutely
nothing. You said that about the watch-alongs. You said you didn't watch it, which is fine. I watched
the final. I watched the final. Yeah.
I don't mind people not, understand people not wanting to watch it, but then if you're not going to watch it, don't criticise it. That's 100%. What I'm going to say. Reece, nearly just short of 650,000 people have watched this tournament live. in the grounds. This was more people than watched the Euros 2022 when it was held in England. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, you can compare numbers, but that's not to be sniffed at, is it?
No, it's not to be sniffed at all. It's growing and growing every year, and it's thanks to this women's team. You know, it's inspiring a lot of young girls out there to go and achieve what they've achieved as well. You know, and also the thing that I like about, and this is the kind of the question I'm alluding to, I like the fact that that they're not bothered about what manager they have in charge. They're not bothered about the nationality, and I think this is an overrated thing with England. I don't give a shit who's in charge of England as long as they're bloody winning. Like Thomas Tuchel's in charge now. I don't give a shit. I don't care if he's German. I don't give a monkeys. If he wins us the World Cup, every single and fucking England fan will be jumping off their seats and be lauding him, Sir Thomas. I'm just saying.
Come on, Sam Allardyce never had a good go, did he? I wanted to see Big Sam have another go. I wanted to see
so did I love
England football. At this point, I wanted comedy from England football.
But I'm going to come back to you, Reece, on that, because I always said there was 3, possibly 4 nationalities that I would not want as an England manager. Tom probably remembers me having said this before. No way would I want a German managing the England football team, whether he's good or not. I mean, there's just some lines that you don't jump over. That's one of them. And he's done so well against an African team that, you know, we've never lost to an African team before. Yeah, then, you know, bring on Tuchel and look what happens. The other one is an Argentinian. I would never have an Argentinian manager in managing the England football team. Not until they actually say that the Falklands are ours. Then maybe I might do, but up until that point,
we'll get done like Top Gear, Chris. Careful.
and
do you hold the same narrative as the England's women team, who's just won them 2 European finals, and she's Dutch?
I'm not feeling that. Yes, she is, but she was in place when I started following England. So. And there's the other one I would not have. I would never have a Scotsman managing the England football team.
You wouldn't get a Scotsman to manage the England football team for a start because they get it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the last German manager to manage a United Kingdom team was the guy that was in charge of Scotland, and he didn't last long. Look, I jest. Obviously, I jest. Because let me come to you, Clibbo, and just take that point up on Reece. Would Serena Weigman do a good job of managing a men's team? Whether that's national or maybe a championship team?
I don't think the world's ready for that yet, unfortunately. I don't know. I think tactically she's quite astute. Whether you would get... Unfortunately, I don't think you would get a men's team to respect.
Reece, sorry, that comment, he completely went.
No, I don't think you get a men's team to respect it. Honestly, and I think it's a shame. I don't think you get a... I mean, look at Leicester's team. We had a male manager who didn't do very well. Then we got this French manager in, female, and she did brilliant. So maybe there's just like a crossover thing there that wouldn't probably work at the minute. We are progressive.
I was going to say Tom's gone. He's back. Tom, I mean, Clibbo says that, but I can remember watching a game. I don't know if it was an international or a European game, probably just a European club game, when the referee was a woman of a men's game. There was no arguing with her.
We had the female referee in our friendly, didn't we?
I think we probably did, but I mean, it's friendly, isn't it? But, you know, there's no arguing with her. There's no surrounding her. You know, they showed her respect 10 times more than they showed any male referee.
Yeah,
so
I think that's a very good point.
And I think you could take that out, bless you. I think you could take that out to the teams as well. I think they would respect her.
Yeah, I think also as well, people in this world nowadays, Chris, are very eager to push things forward, like without naturally letting it happen. I think that's going to happen. I think it is happening right now. I get the equality. We want this amount of managers of this background. We want this amount of managers of this sex or whatever. It's a very nice, noble thing to think about, but we can't rush it because then you sabotage it. It naturally comes from where we are right now. And we're seeing how that is working, like you say. And I've been very impressed, actually. And I'm not just saying it. There's been some female referees that have been terrible. There's been some male referees that have been terrible. But you're right. Some of the things I've seen recently from the female referees has actually been very impressive. And I think their control of the game is to be applauded, actually, especially in the male-dominated world at times.
The thing is, when you get what will happen at some point is a hot-headed male player, a Joey Barton, will lose his shit and deal with the referee the same way he would deal with a male referee. Then you're going to have all sorts of connotations. Oh, it's sexual assault, it's verbal assault, it's all these things. Now, I think there's a very fine line between. I think you've got to be very careful. I'm even being very careful what I'm saying, and we're doing this show because, I mean, me personally, I'll tell you now, if there's a female football show, I don't want to see a bloke on it. Why do I want to see a bloke on it? Blokes never play female football. But equally, when I watch a bloke show, I don't want to see a woman talking about football. She's never played male football. It's two different sports. Keep the two separate. Enjoy one for what it is and the other one for what it is. Then there's no fucking arguing about it.
I know, I agree with that. And I know the BBC wouldn't agree because they've got to tick boxes. You know, so if they, I want to put this bluntly, the BBC could have a black, lesbian, female presenter doing Match of the Day, they would. Because it's ticking the boxes that they want. You got three. If you was in a wheelchair, that would be a fourth box that it would tick. They'd be well happy, wouldn't they? They'd be having orgasms at the BBC. But I agree. The women. I mean, I don't think Ian Wright should be on the women's football. To be, I don't agree with what the woman was saying. That Luca woman, but I don't think he should be. But I don't think the women should be on the men. So quite right.
If I got picked for something because of that, Chris, I'd feel actually offended. The fact that was the only reason they picked me was because of this reason. I wasn't good enough to do the job. It was to fill a quota. I think it's very I think it's very negative. I think it's a negative mindset.
I wouldn't argue that. I wouldn't argue, but look, you look at. And I'm going to sidetrack here. Sorry, Reece, I'll come to you next. But look at Doctor Who. We had the first woman.
God, it was shit. It was shit. I don't necessarily think she was shit. The storylines were shit because they were woke.
Yeah, well, the guy's gone woke, hasn't he? I mean, I can remember when they brought David Tennant back and he was saying about an alien being non-gender, whatever it was. I mean, that was ridiculous. But they had the first woman. Now they've got the first person of non-white person. Where does it end? Where does it end? It really does. But Reece, playing the flip side to this argument, Emma Hayes at Chelsea won virtually everything going when she was managing that football club. If she had been, she's now obviously managing an American national team, which in fairness, you probably don't get a bigger job in women's management, football management. If she had been announced as our new manager, would you have given her a chance?
What, as the England women's manager?
No, as the Leicester manager.
No, just no. No, it's like I said, it's two completely different sports, and it's the same in punditry, and it should be the same in football. Men should stick to men, women should stick to women. And also, I was just going to tell you, I went to the boxing a couple of weeks ago, and you had female refs in there with two blokes. Could you imagine if after the bell, that woman gets fucking punched square in the fucking face by a big fucking heavyweight? Could knock her clean out and do her some serious damage. That's what I mean. They should stick to their own sport. Women should stick to women's sport. Men should stick to men's sport, because it could end, especially in a sport like boxing. I know I've gone off topic a little bit, but in a sport like boxing, if you get punched in the face by a big heavyweight and you're a female ref, you could do some serious damage, and that's the consequences.
I tend to say boxing, after what happened at the Olympics this year or last year, boxing is probably the wrong topic to pick, because you just go on what it says on your passport, whether you're a male or not.
Reece won't be getting his application for a DEI job for sure.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
Okay, let me ask you this, Reece. Is saying that we shouldn't have women in the men's game as manager, I'm not saying as players, because look, I think in all sport you have to differentiate between sexes. Could a female tennis player beat a male tennis player at the top level? Probably not.
That's been proven. So, was it Serena played the world men's like number 600 or something, and she got her arse handed to her?
Right. So, Racing and Sebastian Coe's come out and said this. It's your body's completely different. But are you saying that the women shouldn't manage a men's team any different to me saying, although mine was tongue in cheek, that I don't want a German or a Scotsman or an Argentinian managing the England football team?
Well, it's like I've just said. It's just my opinion. I wouldn't mix the two.
No, I'm not saying it isn't, and you've every right to say it, and I respect your opinion. But what I'm saying is there a difference between the two?
I'd say so, yeah. It's complete. Yeah, you're picking sexes between nationalities. I think that's two completely different arguments there. Personally, that's just my opinion.
No. That's right. That's why I asked you the question. Hi, Manny. How you doing? She's playing. Look, he not only knows football, Manny, he knows every fucking sport going, doesn't he? Come on. What was David Gower's average runs for Leicester when he played for Leicester cricket team? Go on, Manny. Tell me that. Right. Okay. But I think we all agree that it does deserve more credit than it's been given so far. And
they're earning it. They're earning it, Chris. That's what they need to do, and they're earning it on their own, which is the right thing for them. So well done to the girls.
Yeah. 44 odd, that's not good enough, Manny. You've got to hit it nail on the head. But yeah, well done to the women. Showed the men up, let's be honest with you. And I think that might be what annoys a lot of men, is that it's showing them up for not winning anything for however many years, Anyway, let's move on, because this is getting a little bit feisty today, isn't it? We are going to have a fight.
30.77.
Thanks to Mrs. Google.
Yes.
Swing and a miss.
What would Joey Barton have said about the women? Clibbo, what would Joey Barton have said about the women winning the World Cup?
Well, about the World Cup, to be fair, it would have probably said a lot of what we're saying tonight in his, in only the way that he can. I actually think that. I think the thing is with him, he's like us. We don't want male football mixing, because traditionally blokes. It was our little escape thing. Women have got into men's football. There's nothing wrong with that. My sister's been a season ticket holder for like fucking 40 years, right? But I think he'd be happy if the women won their World Cup, because they're doing it for England in their sport. And I think that's where the confusion lies with some people, when they haven't really thought about it. If you say, well, I don't think females should be in the male sports, I think that you're already running into problems with people saying you're some sort of misogynistic, sexist, non-progressive, blah, blah, blah. Well, if that's what I am, that's what I am. But I think if you sat 100 blokes down, you're getting past 80% of blokes would agree with what we're saying tonight, whether they'll admit that to their partners or wives or girlfriends. That's a different matter.
Tom?
Well, I haven't seen what he said, actually, but I know he's probably said something. I'd imagine what he would have said would be something along the lines of, those penalties were taken, I'd score every single one of them. Hooray! Because
there were shit penalties, though, to be fair. There were shit.
Well, yeah.
He did have a go at the penalties, saying that's why that women's football is shit. But I love the fact that somebody's put a meme up that shows Joey Barton missing a penalty
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing about it is, there's this argument about like, okay, yeah, they're terrible penalties and all the rest of it. Yeah, okay, maybe they are in comparison to the male game. But once again, why do we always have to compare it to the male game? I know it's instinctive because they're both football, but the women's game offers so much difference to the male game, like I've already mentioned throughout this show tonight. And I think you should look at the positives of what that is. And like, maybe you have to turn a bit of a blind eye to a couple of bits. But I tell you what, honestly, I'd much prefer to see a lesser quality football. Isn't this the argument about going and watch non-league football over Premier League football? Because the quality isn't as good as Premier League football, but it's a cheaper day out, much more passionate football usually, you see, a bit more scruffier, yeah. But it's exactly, you see my point? And people still prefer it in the male game. And I don't see how that's too disproportionate away from the female game maybe lacking a bit of quality, because we seem to make excuses for the male side of it to go and enjoy it.
Mandy, that does reek of copy and paste to me there, mate. It does reek of copy and paste.
Yeah, it does.
Sorry, Clibo. Joey Barton slammed by England fans for disgraceful post minutes after Lionesses win Euro 2025.
It's just clickbait. He's trying to look. His football career's over. He's never going to be a manager. You know, he's trying to keep himself out of jail. And the only way he can vent is by doing it on social media and having freedom of speech. So I take it all with a pinch of salt because it's clearly clickbait.
Anyone with more court appearances than Wembley finals is probably a criminal, not a footballer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
His post was on X, well done to the Lionesses winning the nonsense pottery trophy.
That's harsh, but I think again it's sensationalism. People will follow that. People will follow. There's a market for that kind of stupidness. Look, we've all thought and said things, and then regretted it and thought, oh, I won't say that again because you get negativity. But with him, negativity is.
Joey Barton regrets anything he says because he keeps repeating it. Reece, sorry, let me move on.
We're giving him a platform.
Yeah, but you know that's the way that the world works now, isn't it? But Reece, those penalties were borderline embarrassing again. Don't ever ask for equal pay. You are miles off it. Just some of the comments that he's posted since the win.
Blue Fox forever. Agree.
That's to Reece. Sorry.
That's right. I agree with him in terms of the financial side. The men's game is far more financial. Like, you know, there's a lot more
equal pay, have they?
Yeah, well, I've heard it a few times. Ask for equal pay?
Let's be honest here, boys. If everyone said, do you want to earn the same as a CEO of a company, wouldn't you be say if you were prompted, yeah, I would like to do it? It's a different thing. It's not them demanding it. It's them saying, yeah, of course it would be nice. But they're smart girls and they're making the game progress on its own. They must have brought in millions in sponsorship after this. So well done to them for it.
Yeah, of course. But like in terms of, like I said, in terms of the financial side, they're never going to earn as much as the men. And, you know, because the men's game is far more marketable. It's far, you know, there's a lot more financial stuff going on in the men's game. You know, you see the transfer fees for fuck's sake, you know, 100 here, 100 million here, 200 million there for these big players. You know, you don't see females going for that sort of price because there's not the money around for it. But the penalties weren't great. You know, let's be honest, the penalties weren't great. But at the end of the day, it's like what Michael's just said here. It's a good pen if it goes in, and if they miss, it's a bad pen. You know, at the end of the day, they went in.
England men have had many bad penalty shootouts.
I'm going to make a point here. I said a minute ago those penalties were shit, and I stand by it. They were shit. What I didn't say was it wasn't exciting and that they should be, you know, lambasted for it. It was exciting, but you have to admit they were shit penalties, you know. And if the men took those penalties to that standard, or, you know, missed that many penalties, the men would get absolutely lambasted for it. So, you know, horses for courses. All I'm saying is, out of all the positives, that's about the only negative.
I would argue on that point. Men, until under Southgate, we'd be, was it Colombia in a penalty shootout? We had never won a penalty shootout in a major competition. So it's not a case of being shit, but then at least the Lionesses weren't as shit as the opposition. The men's team were never any better than the opposition because we kept fucking losing all the time.
Oh, I mean, the penalties in terms of the whole women's game over that tournament were shit. Now, that's not to say that I wasn't more entertained by it than the England guys, because I was. Like, same as you, Tom. I can't remember the last full 90-minute game I watched of the men, because it bores me. It's uninteresting, and it's the same players that get picked. Listen, the only time we didn't do that is when we won the fucking World Cup. We didn't pick fashionable players. We played players that played in that system well.
Yeah, agree.
Not you, mate. That was about the England football team.
Right. Well, let us. This I think will probably though be an easy one. Is Joey Barton a knob? I think these could be one-word answers, Clibbo.
Well, I'm not going to give you a one-word answer. My opinion was made up about Joey Barton when he was famously filmed smacking the fuck out of that bloke in the street. I think it was near a bus stop. And I just thought, you're a fucking awful human being. So my opinion's never changed. What I will say is, the odd thing that he says, in my head, I agree with. But that doesn't mean to say that I think he's an agreeable fella. I think the bloke's a fucking arsehole. And somebody said in the comments there, he's just trying to remain relevant. Well, yeah, that's what he is doing.
Yeah. Tom?
Yes, but we have no divine right to not want assholes in this world. It's the real world, guys. Assholes exist everywhere. He's no bigger asshole than a lot of other people, but yes, he isn't. He's a knob, yeah.
You're being too kind, mate. This isn't a show to be kind.
I'm not being kind. I'm just saying, like, it makes life a hell of a lot easier if we all understand that there are absolute knobheads out there because we've got them all in our lives. And rather than getting offended and upset by it and self-poison by it, just go, yeah, he's a knob. Yeah. Great, fine. More power to him. I'll do my own way. Thank you very much, Joey.
Ronald, I'm not reading that out, but yeah, maybe you've got a bit of a point on that. Reese?
He doesn't cover himself in glory, does he, in terms of his opinions? But there are some opinions in terms of when he's speaking logically and with knowledge and, like, you know, on a calm head, there are some stuff that I agree with him on. Now, I don't agree with everything he says, but there are some stuff out there that I do agree with what he says in terms of logic and knowledgeable stuff, because there are a lot of woke people out there that, you know, born with this narrative in this day and age, and people don't like it. But there are some points that I agree with him, but he doesn't cover himself in glory, and he was a shit footballer. Let's just put it that way.
Do you think, though, Reese, do you think that if he didn't talk all this shit, that he could have had a decent career maybe as a pundit of some description, whether that's for newspapers or whatever?
Potentially. I think he had some talent about it. There was some talent in there as a player. You know, he was a very good set-piece taker. He was a good passer of the ball. He was energetic in midfield. You know, he had something to offer to a team. But his attitude, you know, towards managers, towards other players, always getting sent off. You know, look at the Man City QPR game. You know, he gets sent off and then he goes and kicks fucking Sergio Aguero, and, you know, and he gets himself banned for what, 10 games, is it? 10 or 15 games? You know, that's... You know,
that was Bobby Zamora's fault. Bobby Zamora said to him, take one with him. Take one with him. And he literally kicked the bloke and he went, oh, shit.
Yeah. But
I've also seen him play against Duncan Ferguson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't fucking done that with Duncan Ferguson.
Isn't a more mild Joey Barton like pundit just Roy Keane anyway, boys? Come on, he already exists. It's Roy Keane. Brian Clough back in the day when he was a pundit.
I don't think Roy Keane is quite as bad. I don't know. That's my point, Chris, but that was your question.
That's my point, but that was your question, Chris. Your question was if he was a little bit more, would he make a good pundit? Roy Keane does it. Brian Clough does it.
That's what you mean. Sorry, on that. Yeah, if he dropped it out and all that, possibly. Right. Now, here's the controversial one. Well, I don't think it's controversial. I think it's my idea, so of course I'm not going to think it's controversial. But I'm going to start with Reese on this one. You've been very quiet tonight, Reese. Are you all right?
Me? I'm all right. I'm fine.
I've never... Well, have you told him off or something, Clibbo? Because he's never normally this quiet. But the next topic we're going to cover, it's still football related. We're going to get non-football in a minute, but are Man United now an irrelevance? I mean, why would anybody want to go to Manchester United as a player? They're not even in, I mean, they'll always get TV coverage. They'll always get, being linked with players because, they still think they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. They're not. They've got a stadium that's falling around them. They've got, they've finished, what was it, fifth from bottom or something last season, sixth from bottom possibly. They couldn't even win, and that was the real Potter's Wheel Cup, wasn't it? That what they were in, although we'd have taken it if we'd won it. I mean, why would you want, Reece? Why would you want to go as a player? Why would you want to go to Manchester United?
There's just two words: Manchester United. It's the biggest club in England. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world. I understand that they're going through a bit of a turbulent time. But it's the same. But Liverpool went through the same time where they didn't win a league or anything like that for so many years. So every club goes through it. But the problem is not. I wouldn't say it's the fans. I wouldn't even say it's the owners. The owners of the club are really, really dragging that club down. But it is still a great, great club. And I understand people's theory about they destroy it. Maybe they do, but it's still Manchester United. The best players still want to go there. And still play for arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world, So I wouldn't say they're irrelevant. Manchester United would always be Manchester United at the end of the day. But I can see people's take on it and stuff.
I want to come back to you on the point there, Reece. You said they are a great, great club. I think if you're going to say that, you've got to put the brackets following that under Sir Alex Ferguson. Because you take those Alex Ferguson years out, and what's great about them?
I disagree with that. You got Matt Busby as well, that started all of this with the Busby Babes, and all that stuff. After the Munich disaster, went on to win the European Cup.
Yeah, that was what the European Cup.
I know, but I understand. I get that, but you mentioned just Sir Alex Ferguson, but it's not just Sir Alex Ferguson. It started from Matt Busby as well, but. The problem was, and I've always said this, they should never have allowed Fergie to become, keep paying him. And the pressure that these managers must feel when Sir Alex Ferguson is in that stand watching above the greatest ever Manchester United manager and arguably the greatest manager of all time, watching above them, the amount of pressure that must put on these managers, to perform at the highest level. But I see your point, but I disagree with that personally.
Clibo, pre-Sir Alex Ferguson, they were just an average club that used to think they could buy a big player and that would turn things round. All right, maybe they had a couple of years under Matt Busby. And I'm not digging at them here, but what made Manchester United famous? I would say it was actually probably the air crash. And RIP to all those players, but that's what gave them the news, made them known all the way around the world. But apart from that, under Matt Busby, they did nothing. It was Liverpool, Liverpool, Liverpool all the way. They then came along, and under Sir Alex Ferguson, they were amazing. He's, let's be honest with you, he's a manager. He could walk on water. He turned that club round. He knew when to sort of change things round, bring new, change the team round, update it, and what have you. Since he's gone, they've just gone back to, I'd probably say, a team less relevant than Tottenham Hotspur.
I would completely disagree with everything you just said, and I pretty much echo everything Reece said. I think during the 80s, they were kind of largely second fiddle to Liverpool under Ron Atkinson, but they were the rivals, and I think rivalries create relevance. I think they've always been a big club. I mean, they have played in the second division. My cousin's granddad.
Liverpool, in fairness.
But the thing is about them, they're a brand. Now, that will always make them relevant. It doesn't matter what anyone says about them and how shit they're being run. There's two things. They're a brand that breeds children. People my age that supported them, their kids will support them because of it, their grandkids, and that'll keep going. Look around the world. Most people that are not, they wear more Man U shirts than probably Liverpool shirts, to be fair. So that keeps them relevant around the world. The thing that changed from the Alex Ferguson era is that Alex Ferguson, he was very lucky in some respect. I still think he's probably the best manager that the Premier League's ever seen. But he grew up. He had a group of kids that grew up the Manchester way, and they grew up and they grew old together. What Manchester United have done is they've gone, right, we've had all this success, a bit like Leicester in a way, and they've abandoned that way and gone for expensive players that haven't paid off. Big Johnnies. Like, you didn't get that under Alex Ferguson. The most famous player that Manchester United's had over recent years is David Beckham. Look what happened to him. Chat shit, get banged. Or get smacked with a hairdryer. Simple as that. That doesn't happen anymore. That's where they've fallen. But in terms of their grace as a legacy and a relevance, absolutely not. They're still, for me, in the top 3 teams. Top 4 teams in the world as relevant.
Top 3.
Tom, in the 50 years, if we go back 50 years pre Alex Ferguson, they won the top tier 5 times. That's 5 times in 50 years. Doesn't particularly, to me, make you a great club.
No, I get what you're talking about on the pitch.
You're a great club, or you don't stay relevant all the time. You drop in and out. And yes, while Fergie was there, they were very much relevant. But now, what would you want? You're going to go to somebody like Man United. You're not going to get European football next season.
No, well, I think Clibo's hit it quite well here, Chris. The problem is that they're always going to be relevant because of the fact that they are turning over the most money in the Premier League, kind of irrelevant to where they finish. Their branding, like we said, all this stuff. Ironically, the most success in football doesn't come from on the pitch nowadays. Even the PSR rules we have in the game dictate that. Clubs like Manchester United are the high rollers of the Premier League. They turn up to the high stakes tables, Chris, and they gamble big money every year to do it. But they always come back on the high rollers table. They don't go broke. So that is why we literally see them constantly. Hey, Chris, there's a part of me that wants to see them becoming irrelevant. So I think the way they've been on the pitch, I agree with you, has been shocking, abysmal. And I think in some ways there'll be a nice karma if there was a relegation coming their way. But the reality is, even if they got relegated, they'll still sell tickets. Pre-season friendly across in America last year, Chris, against Liverpool. Pre-season friendly. 100,000 people sell out in America. Leicester aren't doing that, mate. I'm sorry, I love my football club. Sheffield Wednesday aren't doing that.
How many
Sunderland aren't doing that.
Man United, how many there for Liverpool?
Well, exactly. But still, Chris, that is not a market for soccer that is really in the current place. American football is their national game. And the fact they can draw that crowd in, and it is based on that badge, it's based on the propaganda of the club. It's based on all these things. So I get annoyed by them because I think, they've really pushed their luck. And I think actually financially the way they run is disgraceful to the game because the Glazers never bought them for any actual money. It was all loans. So they've just taken money out to pay off the loan they never really had. It's all fake monopoly money as far as I'm concerned. And it's absolutely terrible for the game. However, that doesn't dictate from the fact that brand is probably the biggest brand in football apart from Real Madrid or Barcelona and one of the biggest top 10 in the entire world. And I support in ice hockey. We're the same, Chris, as Man United, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've won, 3 or 4 Stanley Cups? I can't remember, actually. I'm having on the spot. But they were in 1967, Chris. But we're still hated and viewed as the biggest team in ice hockey. Nothing changes because we're the branded ones. We're the ones everyone buys the merch for.
Reece,
just alluding to what Tom said there. He said about, I'd love for them to become irrelevant. I think this is where this all stems from because they're going through a shitty period in their history where they've not won anything relevant for God knows how many years now. I think it was 2014 they last won the Premier League. I think that's where it all stems from because we all banter. We all hate Man United. Everyone hates Man United. And I think that's where this comes from is because they're going through a shitty period in their tenure as a football club that we want them to be irrelevant, but they're never going to be irrelevant. It's Manchester United. They're the biggest brand in England. They're the top 3 biggest clubs in the world. And I think that's where this all stems from, the fact that we're loving their demise. We're loving how shit they're playing. And I think that's where this all comes from, personally, in my opinion.
Which makes them relevant because we're still talking about them.
Is it, going back to what Reese has said, Clibo, about every other team wanting them to fail, is that not because of it's Man United, but because of the attitude of the fans? Is that so many of the youngsters, say Reese's age, that are Man United fans, were brought up on success. They didn't know anything. They didn't remember the pre-Fergie years when they were shit. They didn't remember the years when they got relegated to Division 2. And they're coming out and saying, we deserve to be better.
Don't we have Leicester fans like that, Chris? Don't we even have Leicester fans?
No, we're not talking about Leicester. We're talking about
I know, but we do have Leicester fans like that as well, ironically. Sorry.
Yes. Talking about Man United, which is what we're doing here. We, you've got these fans coming out and saying, you even get pundits saying it as well. Oh, this is Man United. Well, fucking hell, Man United are shit now. Absolutely shit. They stayed up. If any of the 1-3 teams had been slightly better than we were, who knows? Man United could have been down there. So are we hating the club, or are we hating the attitude of the fans that have, fairness to them, only grown up knowing success?
There's quite a lot of things to say about that. One, I think fans are more fickle than they've ever been. I'm not saying every fan. 2, football is like pantomime. We want somebody to hate. We hate them because we're jealous of them as football fans. And by doing that, we're still making them relevant. But I agree with you, off the pitch, you can look at that, take the Fergie years out and maybe the Busby years a little bit. They have been largely shit, but at the end of the day, it's like with Liverpool, like the Liverpool and Man United thing created a lot of this, and it still does. I mean, it's like Big Daddy Giant Haystacks, isn't it? Oh, you want Big Daddy to win. But without Giant Haystacks, it's a shit match. That's that's the way we're making them relevant.
Oh, but let me say this then. Who do you hate more, Clibo, Man United or Man City?
It's very difficult. I would say Man United.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Reese?
Completely agree. I ain't got a problem with Man City. At the end of the day, they've spent all this oil money, and do you know what? If we were in the same position, we'd do the fucking same. If we won all those Premier Leagues, a Champions League, an FA Cup, because that's the way football has gone. It's all about how much money you can spend. And if we had the same opportunity to do that, fucking take it in an heartbeat. Fact.
Okay, then let me ask you this as a player, then we'll move on. Right, I've been was it Muem? I can't think of the guy's name from Brentford that's been linked.
Brian Mbeumo.
Why should he go to Manchester United and not to Tottenham, where his old manager is?
Chris, would you like to shag Melinda Messenger?
That's a very leading question that I'm not going to answer on when something's been recorded.
This is my answer to your question, because there's nostalgia. He obviously grew up liking Manchester United. That is why you'd want to move to Manchester United, irrelevant of where they are in the league. It's kind of like going, I quite like Pamela Anderson. Would you quite like to get it on with Pamela Anderson? You might be a bit older nowadays.
All I will say
you
to
still
that,
have that nostalgia.
All I would say, Tom, to that is, whoever it is, as long as they've got a heartbeat, I would shag them.
Love it, mate. Would you like my comparison?
I'm not going to be fussy about Melinda Messenger, or there's only one. Oh no, I take that back. Anybody but Katie Price with a heartbeat. Clibo, I mean, yes, it is the money, but I mean, maybe that's what the football's come to now. Money is.
Oh, it's been that for years. I don't think the standards got better. I think when the Premier League first started, those first few years, I think football was much better to watch. There seemed to, it was still more of like a laddie community kind of thing, you know. Now it's become very corporate, very, you know, people fucking falling over and trying to gain fouls, and those fouls will win you a cup, and the money and everything that goes with it, and who can get the next fucking oil baron to take over their club. That's what it's come down to. And it's largely the reason I've fallen out of love with football. A little bit like Reece. I think, you know, I'll wholeheartedly say this. I know he's my nephew, but he's one of the most knowledgeable people about football I've ever fucking met in my life. And that goes right back in history. Now, there's not many people his age that will know that, because they're only interested in the now.
No, I'm not going to let that go without this.
I was so hoping you'd do that.
You know me too well, Tom.
I'm Spider-Man in that one.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, but that's the way the game is. It's about money, and younger fans have grown up in the Premier League era just knowing the success of their own club, and the success of a club now is down to who owns the club, what they can spend, going back to what was said earlier. And I think that's a real fucking shame. And you know, when I see kids walking around in Man U shirts around where I live, I just want to go over to them and say, what part of fucking Manchester are you from? I say it all the time to adults.
Yeah, the answer will be
they'll go on Man City shirt, and I say, what part of fucking Manchester are you from? And they'll go Wigston or something, you know. I hate that. I really hate that. As a very young boy, probably 5 or 6, 7 years of age, Reece's mum, who's been a season ticket holder, my sister, for 40 years at Leicester, and is a die-hard as you're going to get Leicester fan. She actually grew up supporting Liverpool, and I subsequently did. And some of my favourite players ever were Liverpool players. But I used to go to the family.
Some of my best friends are coloured.
No. But I used to go to the family nights as a young kid, watching. You know, we used to get the reserves team on a Wednesday night. As a young kid, we'd go there, and I remember Leicester playing Liverpool, and I couldn't do it anymore. There was just something that clicked to me. I can't do this anymore, I'm Leicester through and through ever since.
I had a similar thing.
When I had my kid, sorry, Tom.
I had a similar thing. My first love in football was Eric Cantona, because I thought he was amazing for kicking that guy in the face. And that's why I ended up being an ice hockey fan, as you know, because I love the fighting element of certain things. But anyway, my point is that I was the same. But then I realised I actually love Leicester. And it must have been DNA, because I just knew looking at them. I felt it. I didn't actually feel it with them. You know, I felt it.
I've got 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, all of whom were born in Burnley. And
busy boy.
My eldest is sorry.
Busy boy.
Why the fuck did you live in Burnley?
The girls are twins, so it was buy one get one free. So, but what I'm going to say is, as it happens, only the eldest is still into football. The other lad wasn't really, and the girls. They started off and they did come to matches and what have you, but they just kind of discovered boys. But what I said to Sean, my eldest, when I started to take him down to Burnley, because that was a local team that was there, and they were fucking awful at the time. They were known as Burnley nil. But what I said to him was, I said, right, growing up, you can support Burnley if you want to, because they are your local team. And I have no problems with you growing up supporting Burnley. Or you can support Leicester because your dad supports Leicester. What you're not doing is supporting Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, any of those teams because you see them on the TV all the time. I said, it's not going to happen. It's Burnley or Leicester. And one day, it was actually on the radio. I was in my room listening to it, and he was on the PlayStation listening to something as well. Leicester were playing Burnley, and Leicester scored, and he came into my room cheering, and I thought, yes, I've got you. I've got you. But let me put it this way, Reece, then, right? You're playing for Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
Around your age, and you've come up through the ranks, and Leicester are paying you £1 million a year.
Yep.
Man United come in and say, come and play for us. Here's 30 million quid a year. I know I'm exaggerating things and what have you. And you say, but what can you offer me? Well, we're Man United. Are you going to get you in Europe next season? No, we're Man United. Did you win anything last season? No, but we're Man United. And then Spurs then knock on your door and go, please, don't go to Man United, come to us. We can only afford to give you 27 million, but you're going to be playing in Europe next season. And how much is that 3 million worth going to Man United? Because if you were saying it's all about money, well, sorry, you're not going to be able to live on 27 million a year. You've got to have the 30 million to sort of survive, have you?
Well, I mean, personally, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I wouldn't leave Leicester for Man United or Tottenham. I'm a Leicester boy.
And you're also
Uncle Clibber will back me up on this. I've always said it's been my dream to play for my hometown, my football club, and that's where my heart lies. And I understand people say, "Oh, it's 30 million a year. It's this and that." I can't do it. It's just the way I've been brought up. It's just the way I've been, like I said, like I've been brought up. Leicester's my club, and that's always been my dream to play for my club. And that will always rule. I've always been pride over money and all that sort of stuff when it comes to Leicester City.
Let me come back and throw it to you then, Tom.
I disagree.
Reece has done us to Keir Starmer there and not answered. Yeah. But Tom, so you're playing for Leicester.
Yeah.
You're a bit younger than you are now. You're in your mid-20s.
38 tomorrow. Fucking hell.
Happy birthday tomorrow, sir. Happy birthday tomorrow, you old
Cheers,
kid.
Boys. Yeah, I know. I'm getting senile, Chris, as well. Fucking hell.
Some of us would love to be that age, I'll tell you. But, okay, so you're in your mid-20s. You're playing for Leicester. You're on $1 million a year. Man United come in and offer you 30. Yeah. Like I said, same thing. Spurs come and say offer you 27. But you're going to get European football with Spurs. Which side of the fence do you jump?
I'd go to the one that brought Leicester City the most money into the football club, because then I look at it that I'm helping my football club out. I'm getting a nice pay rise myself. And I'd also make sure I left on good terms with the club as well. And to be honest, Chris, I'd think if I went to Manchester United, Chris, players don't normally take there. I probably wouldn't take there, and I'd probably end up to go back on a loan to Leicester, perhaps, or I'd end up going back to Leicester at somewhere down the line. So I'd actually be quite clever about it in order to maximise my revenue, Leicester's revenue to help them out, and then come back home as a hero.
Well, all right, let's say Man United are actually paying exactly the same money to Leicester. You've got a get-out clause in your contract of 27 million. Man United are going to play 27. Spurs are going to play 27. Who are you going to?
Oh, Man United.
One of you.
I'll go Man United. I'll go Man United because of the commercial relevance as well. Because the thing you got to think as well, Chris, is what is your personal sponsorship deals going to be and all the rest of it.
It's all about the money for you. You're not bothered about being able to play at the top level.
No, well, no, because I would go
next season.
Yeah, but it's playing for Spurs, Chris. It's kind of different. Chelsea. Say Chelsea, not Spurs. Might go to Chelsea. Yeah, definitely go to Chelsea. What I would do is I'd look to make myself the max amount of money I could in what is known to be a short career. I look to line up, getting Leicester some good money for it as well to leave on good terms. And I would like to come back to Leicester. Gary Lineker did it. I mean, I need to get on with Gary. I know, but he did do that. And a lot of Leicester players have. As long as you do it the right way, I think it's fine and acceptable. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get the nobility of wanting to stay with Leicester, and of course, your heart will always be with Leicester. But it's a job. Football's a job nowadays, Chris, in the male game.
This isn't a question that I asked, and maybe I hadn't thought it through. This wasn't a question that I was asking you as Leicester born and bred. That you were huge Leicester fans, and you personally. It was a general question. Clibbo, take off the fact that you're a Leicester fan. You were born in Suffolk or somewhere. I don't give a fucking shit, but you're not born in Leicester. You have no allegiance to Leicester whatsoever. As a player, do you want... and Leicester's getting the same money from both these clubs, Man United and Spurs. Which one do you go to? Man United are offering you 30 million, but that's all they can offer you. Spurs will offer you 27 million, but can offer you Champions League football, and therefore, I'm guessing, better bonuses as well. Is that 3 million worth going to Manchester United for?
I don't think it's about the money so much, because there's very little difference between 27 million, 30 million, or whatever. You know, you're a multimillionaire. For me, Champions League Spurs, that's probably the only time they're going to get Champions League. Let's be about right. And they were as shit as Man United. They won a cup. They were as shit as Man United. It is going to click for Man United at some point. So if you're a young, ambitious player, you go to Man United.
You're in your mid-20s, though, so you're not that young. And when's it going to click for Man United? It hasn't clicked for Man United for the past...
It will do. It will do.
Will it?
Man United will finish higher. Man United will finish higher than Spurs next season. I'm telling you.
Well, they finished higher than Spurs last season. But
they'll finish significantly higher. They will finish in the European slots next season.
When
that's like saying who wins out of a 1-inch penis and a 2-inch penis, Chris.
I don't know.
I just don't know when it's going to suddenly click for Manchester United.
It will.
A club. Go on. A club.
Sorry, I've just come back to that point, Reece. Sorry, mate. Sorry. What I would say is, when Liverpool, before Alex Ferguson and Man United, they were the biggest club in England by a long chalk. They were winning European Cups. They were winning FA Cups, winning the league virtually every year. And then it started to go wrong. And it took them over 30 years for them to click again. So how long are we going to wait for Man United to click? And Liverpool didn't have half the problems that Man United have got. Sorry, Reece, do carry on, mate.
There's a saying, the cream always rises to the top. Remember that. And that's all, and that'll always be the case. The size... A club the size of Manchester United will never not be in this position. It will click for them because they're too big of a club. They've got too much money to stay in this shitty position that they're in. It's got to click. Look at Liverpool now. You've just said it yourself. It's took them however many years. Now they're the best team in the Premier League. They've won 2 Premier Leagues. They've won FA Cups. They've won League Cups. They've won Champions Leagues. And they're pretty much on the same level as Manchester United now in terms of club size. So it can only stay this shit. It can only stay like this shit this long for Man United because they are too big of a club with too much money to stay this shit.
2 years with a big gap in between. They've won it with two guys. They've won it. Is there an echo somewhere?
Not me.
No, Man United though, right? 2012-13 was the last time that they won the Premier League. Since then, they've finished 7th, 4th, 5th, 6th, 2nd, 6th, 3rd, 2nd, 6th, 3rd, 8th, 15th last season. It's going to be a long time waiting for it to click. You know, Liverpool, as big as they were, took them 30-odd years to click. There's no guarantee. And I'm not saying that Liverpool they are the best side this year, but they've not had the success over the years that they had before. Manchester City, I would say at the moment, are a bigger club than Liverpool at the moment because they've won more recently. There was a gap between Premier League wins for Liverpool. And, you know, do we talk Burnley? When are they going to rise to the top? You know, I mean, these clubs, Bolton, they used to dominate English football. They were bigger than any of these clubs before Man United even existed. When's their cream going to rise to the top? Huddersfield, you know, they've won more leagues than Spurs.
I love your choice of a line of Burnley. When's it their time to rise to the top? You sound like you literally could be a reformed councillor, Chris, in the region. Honestly, what a beautiful line that was. I was going to say something quickly, right? Barcelona, when they were broke, what were they doing in La Liga? they were still in the top 2 pretty much, or top 3. Juventus, when they got kicked out to Serie C, they rose to the top back to Serie A and won the title again a few years later because they were cheating. I mean, this is the problem. These guys have got a much more a wider range to be able to make mistakes and then come back and bounce back because of the money involved. They literally can, like you say, throw stuff at it until they get it right. Law of averages, Chris. So if you're driving a McLaren Formula One car, you're more than likely to win. Right now, Man United are crashing that Formula One car every week, but there's still a McLaren Formula One car deep down. Eventually, one year it will stick, and when it does, there we go. The argument's over, right?
I think, no, not just as a one-off, if they do it the number of times that Man City have, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Somebody just said about the Glaziers. So Jim Ratcliffe, since he's come in and run the football club, they've actually got worse. You know, he's saving a bit of money by saying they can't give free tickets here and free tickets there. I mean, he seems to have no idea how to sort of run a football club. He makes Tom look like, he makes Top look like the best owner in history. But I just think, like I say, to me, it isn't going to happen anytime soon. And I've got to say, and I appreciate you guys, and I say, respect your decisions. But to me, if you are as a player worried about 3 million quid and you're going because they're giving you 3 million quid more, then it's a sad life, I'm afraid.
I'd gain that back in a Nike deal that I'd get a Man United more easier, Chris. There's other sponsorship deals. I'd gain it elsewhere because of the Man United brand.
You get your bonus from playing in the Champions League. But, you know, like you say, if you want, you know, if you, like I say, you're going to get 3 million more anyway at Man United. But, you know, like you say, like Clibo said, that probably, and I'm moving on now, that probably says more about modern day football and footballers than it does. Maybe we should look back at the women's team. You know, they're not playing for huge amounts of money, and look how successful they've been and the heart that they've got. Going to do this now. Mock the Week. For those of you that know like Mock the Week, which I do, they have a set bit at the end where they do things you wouldn't hear or things you wouldn't say. And I want to go around you and guys and come up with and we'll do a different one every week. Let's start with you, Clibo. Things you wouldn't hear Ruud van Nistelrooy say.
Can you give me Steve Cooper's number?
Fair point. I mean, I would have come up and said, I've got a plan B. Tom?
I'll happily walk away on a handshake, guys, like my mate Wayne. So I called him up and saw what was going on at Plymouth, and they were skint as well. So we're skint, so I'll happily walk away and not take any money from you. Bear in mind, you're financially crippled. So, yeah, I'll do that and be a nice person about it rather than sucking every bit out of an empty tit I can before I leave this place.
Good point. Long but good. Reese?
Things you wouldn't hear Van Nistelrooy say. Well, I've got one. It's Jakub Stolarczyk isn't a better goalkeeper than Danny Ward.
Again, smashed it out the park, mate. Smashed it out the park.
Silly.
Silliest of silliest.
We can't get better than that. He's hammered it. He has hammered it indeed, Tom. Yeah. Right, okay. This is an interesting one. We're going to do this one first, actually, because this is quite interesting. Let's go off football completely here. Your first crush. Now, I'm going to say that this lady, and I have forgotten her name, but if you remember me saying, I may have said this to you guys, I don't know who, but I used to have this lady's picture on my wall. In fact, it was this very picture that I had on my wall. Wasn't my first crush. This was when I was in my early 20s, shall we say. And my girlfriend at the time, that then went on to become my wife, made me tear it down. But who was your first? I'm going to go. My first crush, I remember, was Susie Quattro, who still is a bit of a hottie today, even at the age she is. When you saw her come on in all that leather gear, playing the guitar, my God.
You still do it then, Chris? That's my question of the night, isn't it? You still do it then, mate?
Yeah.
I still would do her now, yeah, but she's breathing, isn't she? You know. Ronald's come in with Stevie Nicks, what a babe. I think Reese has gone off to have a quick wank over his.
He's gone off to find the manual. He's got all the pictures he's got saved.
Yeah, but you know you can't disappear on this show without you being picked on. But no, I obviously don't mind. Yeah, I'm going to go with... I've had a lot over the years, I'm not going to lie. This lady was one of them. One of Charlie's Angels, of course. She did replace Farrah Fawcett Major with the nipple pick, if you remember. Reese sat there going, who the fuck are these people? But yeah, I'm going to go for Susie Quattro. Tom, who is your first crush?
I think it would be about 1994, and I think it was Gwen Stefani, the least singer, no doubt. I know she's probably more famous nowadays than she was then, but when she was younger, and she was a very... And the thing is, I'm weird. I actually really fall in love with attractive women. I get crushes over... not attractive, over... what's the word? God, I'm just thinking about Gwen Stefani back in those days, and I'm just like... Yeah, that's what happens to me, Chris. That's what happens to me. The guy that speaks a lot of shit, if he's in front of a woman like that, he can't speak. Literally, I just see something incredible. Yeah, but no, talented women is what I meant to say. Talented women who've got something of real talent, and I thought she was an amazing singer, and she just got me in with her voice, really. I thought she was amazing, yeah. Not so much nowadays, though, but yeah, back then I did. Gwen Stefani.
Reese?
Well, I can remember being a young 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy, and I was absolutely in love when she was in her prime. Cheryl Cole.
Cheryl Cole. Good
Cheryl
shout.
Cole. I mean, when she was in her prime on the X Factor, and when she was married to Ashley Cole, I mean, the things I would do to that woman is unspeakable. Things, so I'll keep that to myself.
You'd show her your golden balls, would you?
Oh yes, too bleeding right. I would. Oh.
I have to say, without turning too much into a bit of a pervert, Ronald. Valerie Bertinelli, says Ray. Don't know her. I've got to say. Stevie Nicks, what a babe, says Ronald. Now, Paul, I just had to Google it to make sure I was thinking about the same one. But you did say Faye from Grange Hill. And I have got to say, what a fantastic shout that was.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I tell you what, I think putting somebody that's good looking in a school uniform is wrong on so many levels. It really is. Jocelyn Smith, yeah, no, didn't know. Not my favourite of the three.
Jane.
Clibo?
Mine was actually Jane from Rod, Jane and Freddie. Rainbow.
I love it. Love it. Oh my dear. You wanted to find the end
Get
of
a picture of her, Chris. Get a picture of Jane from Rod, Jane and Freddie. Because
that's a weird sex fantasy, having sex with her with a load of Muppets in the background watching you, mate.
Yeah, you'd have to have Zippy giving it, go on, Clevo, go on.
You'd have to get one of those sex gags. You'd have to get one of those sex gags to put in his mouth like this.
Okay, so this is what she was called, Jane.
Yeah.
And let me just you
remember Rod, Jane and Freddie, surely.
I kind of remember, but I can't quite picture it, Clibber, I'll be honest.
Oh, she was very attractive, and I was.
What about Anthea Turner? What about a bit more pretty?
Nursery rhymes. She did all the nursery rhymes and the singing. Yeah, blonde hair. Yeah. I know. Yeah, she was fit.
Oh, well, yes, I can see where you're coming from. All these women are very nice, but the problem is, of course, they're not necessarily your first crush. So, yes, I would agree. Who did you just say, Tom?
Anthea Turner, the way she played that Thunderbirds Tracy Island, mate. I tell you what, it brought me out into the world as a man, seeing her play with my Thunderbird too. Hooray!
Hey!
That's the sound it makes when it starts moving. I don't just want to get a speaker the next time I'm fortunate enough to be with a lady, just start playing it from behind my back.
I'm trying to get this picture up. Unfortunately, on my computer at the moment, it doesn't, for some reason, like to save pictures. But I'm trying to get Jane up. Not trying to get up Jane. Trying to.
You have to age verify for porn now, you know, Chris.
I know who it is, Clibbo. I know who it is.
Yeah,
She was in Sooty
She
and
was
Co
good.
as well, briefly, for one episode.
She was in Sooty,
Wow.
or was Sooty in her?
Oh,
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Take-
Yeah, I
Take it crazy.
can see where you're going from.
And
I
Kayla
can see
Strachan,
where you're
man.
going from.
Yeah, Michaela Strachan, I've met her.
You've met her. Oh, Michaela. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Michaela Strachan, I had the hots. When she used to do the Hitman and Her,
Yeah.
do you remember that? Oh, yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And somebody has just said, right, look, you were either into Multicoloured Swap Shop, and there's going to be something coming on in a bit. Unless anybody's got to rush off. Timblewood Bungle.
I'll tell you, Michaela Strachan, because of the job, the other job that I do and did in the past full time, I was backstage with Michaela Strachan talking to her while she was in a leopard skin leotard.
Oh.
And I had pictures of her all over my bedroom wall as a child. And the things I was imagining was quite wrong.
How stained were they?
What, the leotard?
Yeah, the pictures.
Oh. I used to have a corner and it had Ulrika Johnson one side and the other side was Michaela Strachan. I used to set my alarm every half an hour just to watch Ulrika Johnson do the weather on
Timo,
TV.
the way
Yeah.
you told that story, mate, made it sound the most unsex-pest way possible. But you could have told it a way where it's like, I really liked her, so I made sure I got backstage with her when she was in a leotard.
I tried not to come across as a sex fest, just in case somebody's emails out there thinking, "Oh, he's all right." No, I don't want to ruin my chances.
If only I could have got this. I've got a picture of Michaela Strachan in a swimsuit.
I have as well, eh?
This one might work for you, Clibbo.
Silliest.
Right, Clibbo, get the tissues ready.
Yeah. Just great.
I've got to say, I can say, do you remember the Hitman and Her?
Yes. Watched it all the time.
Yeah, I did, just for her. You used to come in, didn't you? Absolutely pissed on the Friday night and watch that. You know.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this one up for me now. Somebody mentioned Sally James.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Manny? Sally James from Tiswas. And you were either a Tiswas fan or a Multicoloured Swap Shop fan with Noel Edmonds.
Yeah.
Some would call him Nob Edmonds. I wouldn't be that rude, of course. But here we go. Oops, hang on a second. This is turning into a wank fest, isn't it, really? Let's be honest.
Sorry, I needed a moment, lads.
I bet you did. There you go.
Oh, she was a bit of a totty, weren't she? Proper totty.
Look at that. Manny, you are right. Susan Shanks and Magpie, get it? I get it. Eureka Johnson, though, have you seen her these days? But that is very nice, Manny. For anybody that is, I used to love Tiswas. I grew up watching Tiswas, and I was actually on. I won a Tiswas token, I'll have you know. But
Sorry, I'm laughing. It's like your biggest achievement of your life. Sorry.
It still is. I'll tell you the story in a minute, but did you know that the lady that I've just put up, Sally James, I mean, there was more parents that watched it than kids, really, because it was a kid's show. You know, as an adult, you still watched it. Sally James, she used to get garters sent in for her, Clibbo. Do you remember? From Royal Navy ships, and they'd have the garter with the Navy ships. She used to put it on the legs, and each week it got higher and higher and higher.
Did you ever watch the adult version, OTT?
Oh God, it was awful.
Yeah.
It
didn't work at all, did it?
Things are funny when they're hinted at.
Yeah.
When you come out and actually do it, it's just not funny. Manny having a wank fest as well. Felicity Kendall.
Yeah. Carol Smiley. Anyone Carol Smiley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good carols in that era, didn't we?
Yes.
If I say Carol Vorderman, then I'm going to have to question your taste.
Well, there's a little bit of something there, Chris. It depends. I mean, that's the great thing about the world for men and women is, right, there is plenty of choice out there for whatever suits your fancy. And, you know, I'm a man of the world. I like to mix it up a bit. Not as far as Alan Partridge with Ladyboys, but, you know. Rule that out.
I've got a question for you, lads, just quickly.
Yeah.
Right, so obviously we talked about female crushes. Who would you turn gay for?
Nobody.
Oh.
You've obviously given this some thought, Reese.
Oh yeah, I've had numerous chats with my.
It's going to go. You're gay.
I was going to jump in and save you here, but I was like, no, I'm going to let him hang himself.
All right, okay, not necessarily turn you gay, but is there any men out there that you think, oh yeah, very handsome? I'll go first. Bill Bixby. There's mine.
Jason Momoa.
Tom Hardy.
Who did you say, Reese?
I think
Sorry.
Tom Hardy.
Bill Bixby.
The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
He was it.
Yep.
Can I just
Yep.
say, like I said, I've had the operation where I had the camera shoved up my arse. I ain't turning gay for anybody. You me.
Reese, I love how
I worded the question wrong.
Man crush.
Yeah, man crush. Yeah.
Jason Momoa is mine. I think he's everything that like really wants to be, isn't he?
I think there's men that's attractive, but I don't necessarily have a sexual attraction to them. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the man in the mirror. Manny, we fucking know that, mate. We watch you every week and see you looking at that in your mirror. Come on. Literally, I bet you masturbate in front of the bathroom mirror, mate, and absolutely love it. Come on, bruv.
Manny, you just got owned, mate. You just got owned with that one.
Now, to be fair to Manny, he's a
I love you,
handsome
Manny.
chap.
You're great, mate.
Yeah, we love Manny. We love Manny.
I don't know. He can piss you off sometimes, can't you, Manny? I don't know. I'd have to think about it, to be honest with you. I really can't think of anybody.
Anyone who thinks an attractive-looking man, Chris, this is going to get us fucking slammed in the football community. Honest to God, what is it? Just wearing our arms out?
I think Chris is struggling here because really his man crush is Manny.
Oh.
How did you know?
Well, it's just written all over your face.
Every time I have, why do you think I have to go? Every time.
You definitely get banged there, Ronald.
Every time I have on the show, I'm sat here going away like this under the table. You know what I mean?
Oh dear.
Oh.
Oh.
What's happened there?
You must have another chair, Tom. You must have another chair.
I do, but I just broke it, so now I'm on my knees. It's almost like some weird fucking gay karma. Horrible.
You must have another chair. You've not only got one chair, have you?
I do, but it's over there and I can't be bothered. I'll kneel for a minute. I'll pretend I'm at church trying to pray for my sins.
Now this is a bit worrying here. Reese has asked about...
Look at the fucking state of it. It's
turned gay for, right? And then Tom was obviously wanking so hard that the game gave way under him. I'm saying nothing. You know?
Brilliant.
Try and
Absolutely
push it
brilliant.
next time, Tom.
You got a clip, flat. Fuck's sake. I snapped a chair in there.
Tom has been in his days as a altar
Oh, it's fucked.
He's on his knees for a reason. You know, Reese, please, whatever you do now, don't stand up. It will look completely wrong.
Chris, you'd better not stand up either. Oh my God.
I think
I've still got this.
I think
Fuck
we
off.
need to. I think we need to move on.
You need that to fix your chair.
Yeah. I'll be ending the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just you see me in the background smashing the fuck out of this for firewood.
It's two different colours, so it must have been two chairs put together in the first place.
Oh, brilliant.
But right, let's move on. Let's move on. Now Reese has nearly got us banned. We're gone for 2 hours. If anybody needs to go, by the way, do send me a message in the private chat, and I'll get rid of you.
Well, shut up and get on with it.
Yeah, get on with it. Let's get on with it.
Going so late, it's going to end. What TV show would you bring back from your youth? Right, Tiswas is the one. I've been on it. I've won a Tiswas prize. I was in the Tiswas Summer Magazine. I absolutely loved Tiswas. So I would go straight away and say I'd bring back Tiswas. Reese, I mean, you're very young. What was round? I mean, were you Teletubbies or a?
Well, to be fair, I mean, this weren't my era, but I'm glad you've come to
Don't say it because it's mine. You have to pick one from your era.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, I was gonna pick this fucker.
Can I say? Sorry, has anybody seen behind Reese?
That's what I was gonna start. That's what I was gonna pick.
Behind Reese, can you see his sex swing? What if you're trying to prove how manly you are, and you've got your era stood up behind you, it's not a good look, Reese. So no, Reese, come on. From your youth, what would you bring back?
In my youth, oh fucking hell. Jesus
I mean, it wasn't that
Christ.
long ago. Out of all of us,
All right, okay.
I'd give Clibbo and Tom a bit longer.
Okay, all right. I've got one. I loved this as a kid growing up. Tom and Jerry. I love Tom and Jerry.
Well, that's fair enough. I think we all think. I think that does cover a lot of our youth growing up. And
What
yeah,
crap, man, he was
Tom and Jerry. Tom, you're the next young.
Well, it's actually a dream of mine to write. Sorry, mate, I interrupted you. My apologies. It's a dream of mine to actually write a reboot of this, actually, and that would be Power Rangers. I was a big Power Rangers guy. It was so silly and ridiculous, but I'd like an idea to reboot it as a free film trilogy. I really would. It'd be my dream to write a free film trilogy based with the original cast. It'd be great.
Which Power Ranger did you used to be?
I actually like Tommy, so he became the Green Ranger, didn't he, quite early on, and then he became the Red Ranger. Oh, no, White Ranger, sorry. So, yeah, Tommy. Yeah, Tommy was my Power Ranger. But who doesn't love Kimberly Joe Johnson talking about early crushes? I mean, check out Kimberly Joe Johnson. I mean, she lived in Toronto, living there.
The Pink
I walked
Ranger.
past her in the street. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's fucking the Pink Power Ranger. And she was busking in
Oh,
Toronto.
yeah, she was fair. I'll give you that one. She was very, very
Reese
fair.
chooses Peppa Pig, apparently.
Oh,
Clibbo,
yeah. I'm a bit younger than that, but yeah.
you're going to be like me, and you're going to go like White Horses or something, probably, aren't you?
No. I'm torn because there's two or three. So I think ultimately it would be the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk.
So,
Either that.
I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at Tom. Just go and get a new fucking chair.
This is like
It's-
skateboarding. This is like skateboarding. This is amazing. This is extreme sitting.
Make sure you've got pants on, because if you're bald fall through that slot, you're in trouble.
I'm wondering if me banging my balls off the chair snapped it in the first place, Clibbo, to be honest.
Oh, fair play. Fair play. No, I think mine would be Hulk, close second, Jamie and the Magic Torch, and Littlest Hobo.
Littlest Hobo.
Or original.
How old are you, Clibbo, if you don't mind me asking? I think.
I'm just coming up to 52.
So you are a lot younger than me, so you won't remember this. But there used to be a programme.
Oh, he's gone, Clibbo.
Called The Flashing Blade. And this was before. What?
You're back now, Chris. You froze a little bit, mate, I think. Sorry, carry on.
Did I? Sorry, I didn't show me this then. Yeah, they're called The Flashing Blade. Used to be on Saturday mornings. And the banana splits. Oh, yes. And it was dubbed. It was about the war between France and Spain. But the theme music was just so fucking good. I used to
Brilliant
watch it.
theme songs in them days.
You know, there was.
Do you remember the British version of the Banana Splits? It was called Animal Quackers, Bongo, Rory, Twang and Boots.
No.
Telling you, that's a classic Granada TV program.
I tell you one we should have mentioned as well, be a good reboot and actually would just work fine. Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean could come back and it would be like it never left. It wouldn't change, would it?
I guess not.
No,
You'd have to change the humour, though. You'd have to change the humour.
Yeah, maybe.
Paul has gone for Runaround.
Mike Reed.
Mike Reed,
Go,
yes.
go.
As Azza said, he was brought up on the buses. Well,
Yeah.
didn't you have a house? I mean, if you had to live on a bus, mate, I mean, what can I say? You've obviously, you ready for this? You've obviously had a very sheltered life. Come on. Quitching.
Chris is like Eminem in a rap battle. Look at him go.
Utopia, I don't know. Reese chooses Peppa Pig. The Flintstones. Best cartoon series then. Best cartoon series. Tom, Reese has already gone Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. South Park. South Park. Look what South Park did this past week. That's why South Park is the greatest of all time. South Park. Still going today, 20 odd years later.
Clibo?
Do you know, I'm going to be boring here and I'm going to say Scooby-Doo, the original Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, no, I get that. Well, I'm probably going to be even more boring than you. I'm going to go Wacky Races.
Oh, I loved it. Catch the pigeon, catch the pigeon.
Yeah. And then they released a spin-off just called Catch the Pigeon, didn't they? And it was rubbish. And they think it's all over. I mean, that had David Gower and Gary Lineker as team captains. And I'd like to bring back Mock the Week. I think it's just a shame that finished.
It just became a bit lefty.
Saint and Greasy, though, I watched one of those because we show them on ITV4, and it doesn't translate into today's world. I didn't. Looking back, how often though do you go back and find a series that you used to watch? And there's so many channels on nowadays. If you get up to like the 60s, and it used to be porn back in the day, but now it's all these sort of very small TV channels. And they used to look. Reese is watching porn now. We can see it on his telly. Is he in yet, Reese?
Is who in?
You tell us, my friend. You tell us, my amigo.
You're watching porn. We can see it here. I said, is he in yet?
Wow.
Looney Tunes. Yeah, that's a good one.
Did you see we got a new film coming out that's going to be like, remember Roger Rabbit film, the one where it's the cartoons with the live action? They got a new one coming out that's been in the works now for about 10 years I think it's called Acme versus Coyote, and it's been held up in legal issues, but it's coming out. Did you like that film? Was it Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It was really cool. Yeah, so it's the second one of those we're going to see, and it's coming out next year, and I'm fascinated because it's been on the floor for like 10 years, but it's ready to watch.
Cheers. Well, thanks for popping in. I'd say it's amazing. So if you get up to these sort of very small TV channels, right up at these sort of 50s, 60s, 70s channels on Freeview, they're showing a lot of the old shows. And what you used to think was so funny back in the day, you watch it now and they're bloody awful. Who remembers Can I Have a Pee, Please, Bob?
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time.
Well, and they brought that back as well, didn't they, on Sky, and it wasn't very good.
Oh, I wish I could change my answer. I'd like to bring back Phoenix Nights for a third season. I loved Phoenix Nights, and it never got finished for me. Phoenix Nights,
so funny. One of the funniest things I ever saw on TV was a sketch where Max and Paddy were on the door, and they were doing a pub quiz, and they were trying to guess the song, and it stops and he goes, walking on the moon.
There was another one as well, which is classic, where they go, the answer to question 3 was the Shroud of Turin. What did he put Rave on? Lisa Stansfield? Just ridiculous. Brilliant.
We'll end on this because we've gone to a long time, as Gary Barlow would say, a long time. Football players you love to hate. Look, we're going to ignore Joey Barton. We've already been there. Football players you love to hate. I'm going to throw in Dennis Wise from the start. Doesn't have to be a Leicester player. Let's start with Reece, because I think he felt a little bit left out when we went back in the day there. He should be so fucking young. Player you love to hate, Reece. And then
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Go on then. Give us the reason.
Only for the fact that people, it's quite petty, my reasons, but I don't give a shit. Only for the reason that people think that he is better. You get this Messi Ronaldo debate only because people think in their stupid brains that he's better than Lionel Messi. That's the only reason why.
You can't say that. It's opinions, Reece. Like you said it many times. It's opinions.
I can say it. Yeah, exactly. That's my opinion.
Say it. You just did say it.
Yeah, but what you're doing is you're saying other people's opinions are stupid. You can't do that and then have an opinion.
Oh well, that's just the way I see it. Cristiano Ronaldo. That's mine.
Fair enough. That's your choice. Tom?
I really can't think of one. I mean, I'm going to sound like a fucking pretentious twat, but I don't love to hate anything. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of...
You do sound like a...
Yeah, I know, and I knew I was fucking going to do it. As soon as it came up in my head, I was like, don't say that. Fucking hell, mate, that's stupid. I'll chuck out a random one. I'll go for Paolo Di Canio, perhaps. I loved him, but he was quite a dislikable figure at times.
We'll come back to this in future weeks. Clibbo?
Oh, mine absolutely is Dennis Wise. Everything about the man makes me want to vomit.
Maybe Savage. No,
I quite like him.
For me, Savage, those players, when he's playing for you, you loved him. But when he played for other teams, you hated him. But Dennis Wise was just hate, wasn't it? Unreal. Right, gentlemen, look, that's 2.25 hours. I didn't intend going on this long, but it's a great show. Can I just say, even with Tom's broken chair as well, can I just say, if you like this one, tomorrow night, we've got this. One subject, 2 generations. Mind the gap. I'm not saying there that Clibbo needs a walking stick at all, but Mind the gap tomorrow night at 9:00. It's Reece versus Clibbo. It's actually 2 subjects, but each they'll be split up over a half hour, but there'll be each one subject. Clibbo, it's Maradona versus Messi. And Reece, what's the other one? I've forgotten.
O'Neill versus Ranieri.
O'Neill versus Ranieri, yeah. Who started the good times at Leicester? I'm going to be sat in between the 2 of them, so wish me luck, guys. It could be worse than a Wimbledon umpire when what was that American called? Said you can't believe it when he was playing.
John McEnroe.
John McEnroe, that's the guy. Tom, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Much. I do hope that maybe we should start a crowdfunding page to get Tom a new chair. What do we think?
I've got to go find another from the other room. I just don't want to leave the computer for too long. Chris, it's fine. I mean, if I'm that fat and breaking chairs and I'm about to turn 38, it's probably progress, right?
Well, I tell you what, Reece could always lend you his sex swing.
Pretty sure I'd snap that as well, Chris.
No, there's a thought.
Either from the actual weight or just my effort.
I'm not sure which. I'm going to go to bed with that image in my mind now. Reece, thank you very, very much. And I will see you tomorrow at 9. Clibbo, thank you very much as well. I will see you at 9. Night, Manny. Night, everybody that's been in the chat. Thank you very, very much. And for all your contributions and joining in. And if you're watching it on catch-up, stick your answers underneath. See you guys tomorrow. It's Tom. I'll see you later in the
Bye.
week. Thank you very much. Take
See you,
care.
boys.
Cheers.
In a bit.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.